Okay, so in our tree here, when I add just things to the list, right? Um, and we display here. So instead of showing the content here, we add this to some place in memory. And once we have the all, whatever that list is, let's just say that we are not displaying it to the user so they can't see it, right? But we store that in RAM. You can achieve this in a couple ways. One way is to store those into an array, right? You can do that. But another way is using what's called the fragment, okay? That is part of the DOM. And also in the notes as well, if you look in here somewhere, towards the end of this, I have a fragment here. Create document fragment. This is useful for when you add some data to the tree, to the DOM. You want to insert the DOM, but instead of adding or inserting to the DOM tree, you just want to store those somewhere in memory first. And once you have a collection of all those tags, it could be any tag you want. It could be the entire page, or maybe an entire column or whatever it is. And then you can, at one point somewhere along the way, you can insert that whole collection of tags to that area. Okay, so we keep that in memory. So we'll do that here, and we're going to modify this a little bit. We'll keep this as is. This is okay. We're just going to rewrite this. Instead of add to list, we will call a different function. I'll keep this for now. So let's go up here, and we will instead of add to list, I'm going to modify this button, and we'll just say add to, instead of list, fragment. Okay, so I'm going to comment that out, duplicate that, and we'll just say add to fragment. Just call a different function. Okay, and then we'll create a function right in here called add to fragment. We'll see how this works. So the first few things will be very similar. So I'm basically just going to copy what I have here from the to list. I'm going to copy from here to the paragraph. Let's see. Well, we're going to add the class to it. So we just said we'll copy these 5 lines here. Copy that and put it in here. Okay. We want to keep the same class in here. But also on the top here, we want to create a variable called fragment. So we'll just say fragment equals document.create fragment. Create document fragment. And they shouldn't take any parameter in this case. So that fragment is now a collection. Okay, it's like an array, or you can call it a dictionary, right? So this fragment will be, it's like a buffer, or it's a memory somewhere in RAM floating around. Inside that fragment actually contains a virtual DOM itself. It's just that now you can later you can attach this to the tree. Okay, so we're going to go and this is a little bit awkward, so I'm going to put this to the bottom. Just look nicer. Okay, so once we add that paragraph there, then I want to then add that to the fragment. So I can say fragment.append child. As you can see, it looks very similar to the target append child, same thing. It's exactly the same, except now it's in RAM, floating around somewhere. Not only that, I want to move this fragment outside of it, so I want to be able to access this outside of this function. So I should have created this outside. So let's move that outside of the function, put up here. Okay? So later we can access this from anywhere else. So it should be just the paragraph, and then we add it to the fragment itself. So just to see that it works, I mean, hopefully it should still work, right? We just don't see it on the list anymore. If I save it, go back to my list, refresh, and if I type in car, okay, as you can see, it's not there. I didn't clear it. We should probably clear that too. After we add to the fragment, just put p, not p, the data, right? Data dot value is blank. So we clear from the list. Okay. So again, I refresh our list. I put car. Okay. You don't see it, it's added to the fragment itself. Maybe Chicago. Okay, so it's there. And to see if it's there, we could, let me see if we can see that in here in the console. Okay, so if I type in fragment, you see they have some stuff in there, and they have those two, vacation car and vacation Chicago. Okay, so it's in the DOM, it's floating there in the DOM somewhere. It's just not attached to the actual DOM that we see on the browser. Okay, so as you can see, it should have this updated live. If I go in here, add Mars. Okay, well, it didn't. Right. So now we have 3 of them added to the tree. Okay, and then now once we're done, maybe we can go back and over here, let's go back to the HTML and add another button up here. Let's duplicate for another button, and we'll say, and we'll just make this very simple. Just say I'm clicking here. We'll call it right away, just to show you that you can do it many ways, right? And we'll just put here show list. Okay, we'll call that function show list. I'll put it here, show list. So we just have to write a function to show the list. So let me refresh it. I have 2 buttons. So how will we show the list? So I'm going to go write a function here. If you put right below here about the visitors, so it'll kind of look similar. I put function show list. Just make sure you match the name. I think I put both lowercase and uppercase. Yeah, so show list. And since the fragment is in the global space, we can access it directly. That's why I put in the global space. So now we just need to attach that fragment to the vacations spots. So what I will do is basically copy this, the target, put it here, and then we're gonna do is target that append child, the fragment. So you put the entire thing in that list to that location. And that is all, right? Because everything is contained within the fragment and RAM, memory space. It's just not part of the tree yet because we haven't attached it to the tree. So now we attach it to the tree, it should be visible now. Okay, so let's see if that works. Save it, go back here, refresh it. I have to reset the tree again. I will add a few here again. Mars, Moon. I'll put a Starman here. I'm very interested in seeing the Starman, where he goes. In August, right? Is it August or October? It'll be in Mars location. Or actually next to Mars. We'll see. So just make sure our list is there. Fragment. So it is, right? It's there. You can see it. 3 of them. And now if I click Add to a Show List, and there it is. So we have successfully added to the fragment and display it back to the list. And then now they all should still be clickable. Well, it's not clickable because we didn't add it to we didn't add the clickable part. But we could have done that, right? So like up here, I didn't add the click event to these. Where is it? Yeah, this part here. I should have copied this and put it inside the list here. So it also comes with this event. So let's save that again and add the click event here. And let me refresh my list again, do another one, Mars, Moon, and we'll go to Jupiter, the EROR, Jupiter. Okay, show list, and then now they should be clickable as well. Okay, so this fragment is very useful for, especially if you want to build a table of data. And let's say you read some data from a file, or maybe not file, but maybe from, well, it could be a file from the server side using Ajax, right? JSON file, and that is need to be inserted somewhere. So you can ask the user, where should I insert this, and then pick a location. So I could say, grab my list, where should I insert it? So you can say, oh, couple of spots here, add it to the Moon list. You click on that, and you can insert the data to that position. Okay. Not only that, you can also drag and drop. Maybe you want to drag it and drop into a certain area. Once you have that, then you can set these two. It's another more advanced feature, but make any of these events objects here draggable, and you can drag it into a drop zone, and you let go, and then the content will populate on that location. They have all these cool effects. All we did here is like very simple. There's no animation. You could have done it so that when it shows the list, you would animate it so it will show one by one, or you can have it a rotating, spinning, whatever, how you want to do it, right? It's all part of the aesthetics of your site. So any questions how we add a fragment? Okay, let's see. Yeah, so we have, so again, notice that once we add it to the fragment added to the tree, it's no longer in memory. Okay, it moves everything out from the fragment to a new place. So it does not retain your list anymore until I add a new list. For example, if I put that in there, add and do that again, you see that it has a content in there. If I click show list, it's there again. I can add it, and now it's added to the list down the bottom. Okay, so it stays there until you add it to the tree. Then it removed those elements from that fragment, and for a good reason, because you don't want to have too many copies of it, as it will take up a lot of resources as well. Okay. Questions? Or are there anything you want me to cover in this section? Okay. So we get that part. The set attribute, we just did that, right? You know the set attribute. You also know how to get attribute as well. There's a set, is also a get. So there's a setter and getter. If you want to get the attribute from that paragraph, for example, we saw earlier over here. So instead of reading it, you could you could do a get attribute and then set it. Again, just you can do like var and then p is equal to document get element by maybe by class name, right? And the class was vacation. Is it? Can't remember. Short memory here. Yeah, vacation. Okay. Just so we can target that. So the P has all those. And if you want to get the attribute, if you know it's a class, you can say P dot the P0 position dot get attribute. Okay, and the attribute is class. Then the so the attribute of that is vacation. So you can check for a particular attribute class and see if it contains a particular class name. If it does, then you do something. Otherwise, you don't do something, right? This is useful for when you turn on and off, so you switch on and off between different colors or different effects on your button on your browser on a particular object. Because usually you can say set to the off, and then when you click it again, set to on. You can say if it's off, then turn to on. Otherwise, just leave it, right? So you can toggle between those different modes there.